Good morning, students. I am present here today to start the second chapter of the book Vistas. As all of us know, the second chapter is The Tiger King by Kalki. The title is very interesting, The Tiger King. And you might put a question to yourself, the Tiger King actually, what does it mean? Whether a king is a tiger or a tiger is a king? But it is not like that. The story talks about a king who has promised, who has taken an oath to kill tigers. And why the promise, why the oath he has taken to kill tigers? This is the most important thing in this chapter that we'll go to read right now. But before I continue this chapter, let me add something here, students. There is a very good line you might have heard. The line is, power corrupts, or you may say, power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when somebody gets power, when somebody gets an authoritative position, he goes to misuse his power. And once you go to misuse your power, you show your foolishness, you show your helplessness, you show your lunacy. It indicates that you are unable to control, you are unable to manage the administration, and that's why indirectly or directly there's an unrest in the mindset of the subjects. So this story written by Kalki. Kalki is a pen name. And the name of the writer actually is Ramaswamy Iyer Krishna Murthy. And remember, this person is a very good writer, a very good poet. Also, he writes for journalist, journal. He's a journalist, and he's also a very good critic. Critic means a person who writes criticism on a particular theme or aspect. So this story, The Tiger King, is a criticism on the rulers, those who are ruling, the king, because they have been practicing injustice, they have been practicing cruelty in their administration, and that finally leads to their own disasters. So this story presents a humorous accounts of a king who has promised to kill, to sweep out the tigers. The ruling class has been mocked as the king, though brought up in the most advanced environment, could not shun the superstitious thoughts and be rational. So he disbelieved the things that was given by the astrologer on his birthday. He followed superstitions, he followed blind beliefs, and that is why he became a lunatic king, and he went on killing tigers. So there was a killing spree in the mindset of Tiger King because he wanted to save his life from the threat of tigers. We'll come to know the story rightly. But remember, students, a question might come to your mindset that why did the king thought of killing tigers? Because on the birthday of this particular king, Shah Jilani Jangjang Bahadur, the astrologer predicted that he would be killed by a tiger. So the whole story starts like this. Let me start the first para. The Maharaja Pratibandhapuram is the hero of the story. So the Maharaja is the protagonist, he is the hero. And see in the first para how beautifully and interestingly, in a very funny way, in a very satirical way, the names are given by Kalki to this particular child, the Tiger King, like Jamadar General, Khiladar Major, शतव्याघ्र समहारी, Maharaja Diraja, Vishwabhavan Samrat, Jalani Jang Jang Bahadur, and finally MAD, ACTC. These are acronyms satirically used by Kalki, and finally he thought of giving a very good name to this king, and the name is the Tiger King. Second part, I have come forward to tell you why he came to be known as Tiger King. So this part talks about why did Kalki think of giving the title to the story the Tiger King. Because I have no intention of pretending to advance only to any strategic withdrawal. Even the threat of a Stuka bomber will not throw me off track. The Stuka, if it likes, can beat a hasty retreat from my story. Dear students, the story is so powerful and so meticulously designed by Kalki, so strongly designed by Kalki. Kalki says that once I have thought of putting the foundation of this story in a very strong way, there is a least possibility of withdrawal from it. So whatever power comes to hit me with its force, there is no question of leaving the spot, leaving this line, or there is no question of retreating from my main intention. And what is the intention here? To have a powerful story, the Tiger King. And that's why he says, I have no pretension. I don't pretend you, telling that my story is very weak. Or rather, my story is very strong. And the strength of my story is such that even there is a threat of Stuka bomber. Stuka bomber is a German aircraft, students. And this German aircraft is so skillfully designed, so adroitly designed, that when this aircraft goes to hit its target, then it has to hit the target anyhow. It never comes back without hitting the target. But here, Kalki says that my story is so powerful, my story is so strong that even Stukabama comes and wants to hit my story with its force. It is really impossible. Even Stukabama has to have a hasty retreat. Means it has to go back. Without hitting my story, it has to go back. That means the power of the story is more powerful than the power of the German aircraft Stuka bomber. It's a humor, but at the same time, you see how humorously and how satirically the writer says that the Tiger King's power and the story is so powerful that even Stuka bomber, they are trapped, cannot hit the story. Right at the start, it is imperative to disclose, it is necessary. It is necessary to tell you one thing, the vital importance of the Tiger King or about the Tiger King. Everyone who reads of him will experience the natural desire to meet a man of his indomitable courage face to face. So normally when you heard that there is a story about a Tiger King, we have interest, we have enthusiasm to know more about the Tiger King, more about the king particularly. It happens. Indomitable courage, determined, very confident, this Tiger King. And definitely we are aspiring, we are desiring to meet such a Tiger King in our life. That how powerful and how brave and how courageous he is. But there is no chance of its fulfillment. He may be courageous, he may be daring, but fulfilling his target is not always possible. Why? In the next line. As Bharata said to Rama about Dasaratha, the Tiger King has reached that final abode of all living creatures. In other words, the Tiger King is dead. In this line, Kalki wants to highlight that everybody, everyone, whoever has come to the earth, he or she has to die. Death has to happen. Death is indispensable. Even if you try to save your life from death, it is completely impossible. Even all of us know when Lord Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, they have come to the earth, they also died. That is why, there are two things to let me highlight here. One is life, one is power. This life and power, these two things are transient in nature, temporary in nature. The power, the authority in which you are, it is only for a short period. So being in that position and misusing your power doesn't have any meaning. Similarly, you have got a human life, and if you think you can save your life by killing animals, innocent animals, because there is a prediction from an astrologer that you would be killed by a tiger, it doesn't give any sense, it doesn't have any meaning. But the Tiger King does it. He sways away by his foolishness. He was biased and he decided to go on killing tigers. So Dasaratha was also a powerful king, dear students. He was a powerful king. He was undoubtedly a powerful king, but he died. So similarly, the Tiger King may be so powerful, like Dasaratha, he had to die. The way Dasaratha died, the Tiger King has reached that final abode. What is final abode? The final resting place, and that is the death. So he had to meet his end, like all living creatures. Whatever creatures on the earth are there, those who have life, they have to die. So like Dasaratha, also a powerful king, similarly this man, Tiger King, he had to meet his end. That means the Tiger King is dead. So finally he has come to an end of his life where he died. The manner of his death is a matter of extraordinary interest. A question may come here. How the death of the Tiger King is extraordinary? You can give the answers after completing the whole chapter, students. It can be revealed only at the end of the tale. The meaning I just told it right now. The most fantastic aspect of his demise means what? Death. The death of this Tiger King was that as soon as he was born, astrologers had foretold that one day the Tiger King would actually have to die. Very simple meaning. The moment the Tiger King was born, and after birth, there was a day where the child was baptized. He was given a name. So astrologers were there. So astrologers told that this boy is going to die. The child will grow up to become a warrior of warriors. So he will be undoubtedly a powerful king. He will be warrior of warriors, a hero of heroes, a champion of champions. But he had to die. They bit their lips. Somehow they hesitate. They stammer. Swallowed hard. And when they swallowed something, they wanted to tell them something. Actually, they put it a secret in their mouth. After that, they were compelled. They were forced to speak it out. What was the problem? How this Tiger King is going to die? This is a secret which should not be revealed at all. Yet we are forced to speak out. The child born under this star will one day have to meet its death. Very common again. Maybe whatever star he has, whatever zodiac sign he has, this man has to die. Nothing new in it. But at the very moment when the astrologers told like this, there is a miracle happened. The question may come here, what was the miracle happened when there was the day of naming for the Tiger King? What was the miracle for the astrologers, for everyone? An astonishing phrase emerged from the lips of the 10-day-old Jalani Jang Bahadur. What was the line? Oh, wise prophets, can you imagine how strongly and how distinctly, how clearly there was a line came out from the mouth of the Tiger King? Oh, wise prophets. Everyone stood transfixed into implications. It's an amazement. Everybody got astounded that what happened? Who told this line? Oh, wise prophets. They looked wildly at each other and blinked. Everyone looked at each other. Who told this line? Nobody could get the idea that this child could speak like this. This time there was no grounds for doubt. It was the infant born just 10 days ago who had enunciated the words so clearly. What is enunciated? Pronounced, spoke. This child told, "O wise prophet," so distinctly, so clearly. Nobody could believe. It was incredible, but we had to believe. The child told. The chief astrologer took off his spectacles and gazed intently at the baby. He looked very clearly, intently at the baby, that whether this child spoke this line. All those who are born will die, will have to die one day. We don't need your predictions to know that. There would be some sense in it if you could tell us the manner of that death. So there is an inquiry by the child here. The child told that, "I know, whoever have come to the earth, they will die. But would you please tell me what is the manner of my death? What is the cause of my death? Or who will be the reasons behind my death?" The royal infant uttered these words in his little squeaky voice, in his childlike pitch was there on the mouth of the child. The chief astrologer placed his finger on his nose. A baby barely 10 days old opens its lips in speech. Not only that, it also raises intelligent questions. Incredible. Rather like the bulletins issued by War Office. So dear students, a question may come here. What was the bulletins issued from War Office in the chapter of the Tiger King? The answer, you should highlight these areas. That when the child told this line, "O wise prophets, it was I who spoke, and I wanted to inquire that whoever have come to the earth would die one day. But I would rather wonder to know from you what is the reason behind my death, what is the cause behind my death, what is the manner of my death." So this line was told in a very clear way, in a very distinct way, that was not believed by anyone on the spot. Very clear, very transparent, very straightforward. And this kind of questions you cannot expect from a child of 10 days. So these were intelligent questions, like a mature fellow you got from the child's mouth. That's why these questions coming from the mouth of the child, these lines are considered as bulletins coming from War Office, from the mouth of this Tiger King. Don't write the answer bulletin board highlighting the answers from the chapter, the last lesson. Okay, so the chief astrologer took his finger off his nose, and the prince was born in the hour of bull. So the astrologer told it that the child has to die because the prince was born in the hour of bull, and bull and tiger are enemies. That is why if bull and tiger are enemies, the child has to be killed by a tiger. He explained. So death has to come. Death has to come in the life of Tiger King by a tiger. Yeah. Another question also may come, students, here. Please mark it. The question may be, why the timing of his birth was peculiar? You can highlight this line, tiger and bull. You may think that Crown Prince Jang Bahadur was thrown up to a quake. So once the Tiger King, this child, heard that the manner of his death is going to happen by a tiger, naturally, normally we expect a child at 10 days old will tremble with fear, will shiver with fear, that, oh, what do I do? A tiger is coming to attack me and is going to kill me. But such kind of gesture or posture we could not see on this child particularly. There was no quake. What is quake here? There was no trembling, no shivering with fear. Okay? Rather, this child got strength. Okay? He was confident now. As soon as he heard it pronounced, the crown prince gave a deep growl. The moment he heard that a tiger is there, going to decide his future at the end, he growled, he shouted loudly. It was terrifying words. So he told loudly, "Let tigers be aware." It's a promise and oath a child at 10 days old took right now. This account is only a rumor in Pratibandhapuram, but with hindsight we may conclude it was based on some truth. This para is very interesting, students. You see, a child at 10-day old took a promise that let tigers be aware. Now you can put a question to yourself. Let tigers be aware. How a child can take a promise here? But anyway, the child told like this. So here is a reference here. Let tigers be aware means the promise he has taken now at 10 years old. So perhaps he refers to his stage of maturity when he is going to grow up, when he is going to reach at the age of 19 or 20 or 21, and he goes to get the throne of the kingdom. From that time onwards, he will go on killing tigers. What is hindsight here? That one of the understandings that is coming before something happens. So before something happens means before the child goes to be a matured fellow, before he goes on killing tigers, somehow now there is a rumor only. People of Patibandhapuram, they started discussing among themselves that the promise taken by this 10-day-old child, let tigers be aware, whether it is going to happen, whether it is going to be there in future when the child grows up and suppose he goes to have the throne of the kingdom, and whether there is any truth, whether there is an authenticity on the statement given by this tiger king here, or it is only a rumor. So this rumor, this promise given by let tigers be aware, it may be a rumor, it doesn't have any base. But why it doesn't have any base? Because the child only promised. So the promise of a child cannot be taken so seriously. That's why the people here, they didn't believe it, that whether he is going to kill the tigers or not. But the distinct words and the confident words coming from the mouth of the tiger king, these words are going to tremble everyone on the spot. And people started talking to each other that whether really something is going to happen in future after few days or not. So this discussion among the people of Pratibandhapuram was a kind of rumor. It spread so fast, so quickly, and everybody was just desiring, was going to see, was going to witness the day particularly when the tiger king is going to execute his promise in a very real way, in a practical way. This is the first part, students. Second part will start the next class. Thank you very much. Watch this video and try the questions I'm giving you after 2 days. Thank you.